Hello and welcome to another episode of Come Cook With Us. I'm Anja, dietitian, here with Dani, dietitian, and today we're going to be making some energy boosting recipes with protein like tofu and beans. We're going to start off with tofu lettuce wraps. They're great. They're going to use some plant-based proteins with our tofu, and we're going to whip them up quickly in a frying pan, and then you could serve them with rice or just in the lettuce wraps itself.
So tofu often gets a bad rap. A lot of people will avoid tofu because it's come up as a problem online when you're reading and all sorts of things. So what we want to do is dispel some of those myths around what you may have read or heard about tofu. Tofu is an excellent protein source. It's really, really a great way to boost your energy level. The majority of people living with kidney disease struggle getting enough protein. Tofu is light, and it's airy and it's easy to digest. So it's a great source of protein for you without having that heaviness to it. Very versatile product, so you can use it in lots of different ways, savory and sweet. Here we're kind of getting inspired by some flavors that are maybe more Asian, so light flavors. We're adding some garlic and some low sodium soy sauce, right? And then we're adding some sweetness.
Yeah, what I get most of my patients always say to me is they don't know how to make tofu. They said, I've never cooked with tofu, doesn't taste like anything, and anytime I recommend it, patients are a little bit off-put. I think some of those things you said, there's a bit of a bad rep for tofu on the internet. But really, like Dani said, soy is good for you, good for your heart health. And if you can make tofu taste good, really, it takes on any flavors or any sauces that you use. It's kind of like chicken.
Yeah, it's cheap and cheerful. Chicken's expensive, right? Tofu's cheap and cheerful. Do you want the pan so you can pop the garlic in?
Yes, actually, if you want to turn it on.
I'll turn it on.
I am going to, so what I'm doing is chopping up or mincing some garlic. And I'm going to...
Smells good.
Great. Aromatics. And then you get some green onions. And we're going to chop the white part and leave the green part for later.
We do not throw it out, people.
No,
save
it for later, yeah.
Save it, save it.
Sorry, this is very loud. I'm so aggressive.
You could tone it down if you want.
Take the anger out on the green onions. Okay.
And here's what we have here, nicely, finely chopped. Okay.
You want things small because they are going to be going into lettuce wraps. You want to be able to wrap it up so you can eat it kind of on the go.
Yeah. Perfect.
So I'm going to bring these over with me.
I'm going to steal the peels while you do that. Okay, carry on.
Okay, we're heating up some vegetable oil. And then we're going to throw our garlic. Now you can also throw some ginger in here.
I love
ginger. You can throw
ginger.
some hot chili peppers if you like it spicy. You can definitely play with the flavors. That's what I like about cooking, is that you don't need to be scientific about it. So we're just gonna let those cook
it sizzle.
up. Yeah, let it get to, you can't hear it, it's not quite there yet. Okay, so we're gonna let that stir fry for a few minutes. And this recipe was adapted from the Diabetes Canada website. They used pork, but see, so what I've done is change it up, which you can do any recipes you find online that use a mild meat like chicken or pork. You can definitely switch up and make plant-based by adding tofu. So this is going to cook up.
And so usually when people are starting out with some meatless meals, I suggest doing something fun like Meatless Mondays. You know, you pick one day of the week where your household kind of plans around eating a vegetarian meal for that day. And I like doing that because once you start making, a meal for a Meatless Monday, you often have leftovers, which leads into Meatless Tuesday or Tasty Tuesday.
Tasty Tuesday, I like that better.
Or Vegan Taco Tuesday, I don't know, whatever you want. But you have some, leftovers. That's kind of a good cycle repeating itself, which is fun.
And I've done the crumbling of the tofu here because it's going to be more like a ground meat dish that way. You can also chop it up if you've got some extra time, make it small diced cubes, but I like the texture a little bit this way. Okay, so I'm gonna just pop in my tofu, crumble some more in there. Whoop.
smells really good. So you haven't used salt yet?
No. And so I'm going to be using a low sodium soy sauce so that it is a little bit less salt. We're also using lots of garlic, lots of green onion, and then as well, actually what I might get you to do, Dani, for me is chop some basil and chop some cilantro.
Sounds great. I love chopping herbs. I just take a bunch and I just kind of mush them up like in my hand, like this, and I make a little curved ball, and then I just gently let my knife glide.
Is this gently? Is that a pointed?
This is a gentle glide as opposed to
attacking a green onion.
An attack on green onions. So that's my style. But I do think, you know, sometimes you need to attack things. I do agree with you there. But in this case with the herbs, you know, it's really important to chop them right before you use them so that they don't go rotten or moldy. Whatever you don't use, the hack is to wrap up in paper towel and store in the fridge.
You know what else I learned that I did with some herbs? You can definitely wrap them up, and then I also put some just in the water with a mason jar, and it lasted, I think I bought that dill a week, at least a week, if not more. So put it in a jar with some water and put it in the door of your fridge, and it's gonna last a lot longer.
That looks really fresh. Excellent.
And that's why we don't need a lot of salt in this recipe. We're using fresh herbs instead. We're using the aromatics with the garlic. I could have probably put in some ginger really easily, or that hot pepper, which would have again added more flavor without salt. So nice thing about this tofu, if I was making meat, I'd have to sit here for a lot longer.
Yeah.
Well, hours.
Yeah, hours, literally. We don't have that kind of time. A lot of people don't have that kind of energy. So, you know, you want to eat for energy. You don't want to like spend all your energy cooking, right? So this is an important thing that you can do for yourself. And don't be scared to use new ingredients. You know, once you mask the flavor with all sorts of other things, it's going to have a very different outcome. It's not going to be like eating tofu. It's going to have a very different taste.
Okay, so I've got this tofu. You know, it kind of looks like chicken.
A little bit. Looks like turkey or chicken, right?
Yeah. And then we're going to throw in half. Is it all mixed in there too?
It
so you're
sure
gonna
is.
throw in half your herbs into here. And
now,
just
is it herb or herb?
Herb?
Herb or herb? That is the $1 million question.
Potato, right?
Right.
So you're gonna warm that up, and it's just to get them wilted. What I like to do to increase the fiber, and I like to have a little bit of veggie with my wraps, is I also throw some carrots in there.
So you cook the carrots.
So I like to just at the end, I've turned off the heat. Yeah. I'm really just kind of mixing this up.
You're just getting them all friendly.
Yeah, exactly. Just marrying them all together.
Very nice.
Okay, and you can, if you like your carrots cold, definitely put them on the side. But the less dishes, I feel like I'm more likely to eat it all if it's all just coming out from one pan. So,
great.
Pick the two best.
This is a good wrap.
Okay, and now it's nothing fancy, right?
This is iceberg that you're using?
This is, yes, iceberg lettuce. It's gonna make that nice cup. Don't you feel like you're at Cactus or like?
I do. Who needs to go? Save your money, save your pennies for that wonderful trip that you've always wanted to take, right? Cook at home. This is really quick cooking. This is not a lot of time on your feet. This is so nice. Love it.
There you go, and we're done. You can do some extra sauce on there if you like. You can throw some peanuts or cashews on top if you like some nuts, but easy. And then if you want to make it a complete meal, you can also throw some rice. If you've got leftover rice, warm it up, put that under it. Now you've got carbs, protein, veg. Done.
Thank you so much for joining us on Come Cook With Us. And I would call this a wrap. Cheers.